What's up, my raspberry jelly donut, or half-eaten apple fritter, or strawberry glazed sprinkle donut? This is Rob from My Gay Guy Plays, and today is officially Valentine's Day. However, I'm sure that is not what you tuned in for. Instead, you'd rather an episode of Hashtag Confirmed where we dig into DevStream 138 or 139. I'm not sure what it is. Regardless, the sound team is up to bat, and they did deliver a few spoilers. Now, I have to underline the word few because it wasn't packed full of information, but they did sneak peek some things to come. However, before we jump into that, I did want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. If you are watching this video live, maybe didn't catch me on Twitter or on the community tab of the YouTube channel, be aware that Prime Chamber is currently for sale on Katir on PC. I have heard murmurs that it is on console as well, so make sure you log in, you check it out. It's about 3k ducats. There's also an armor piece that's like 300 ducats, so listen, get to grinding. But to help you along those times, just in case you were worried that you weren't going to be able to get all of the ducats that you needed, they did go ahead and announce the TennoCon save the date, which will be July 11th. So just keep in mind that whenever they do kind of like the digital passes for TennoCon, they also have a Katir relay, which contains all of the items that Katir has ever brought. So keep in mind that you might not be able to get it now, but you might want to go ahead and get your hands on it later. Also, just keep in mind that I'm 150% aware that Prime Chamber isn't necessarily the best, but it is kind of like this marker in Warframe history. For those of you guys who don't know what it is, what the big hullabaloo about it is, originally this was actually launched about the time that Frost Prime was launched. And keep in mind, Frost Prime did not have a Prime access. Literally, this mod existed before Prime access, and there were only about 100 distributed, because I believe it was like the top 100 that perceived, pursued, persuaded, participated in the event. So there was a limited amount of these mods floating around. They were selling for tens of thousands of platinum, and they were given away a couple times during TennoCon and during some kind of like DevStream events. So for me, while yeah, the mod itself doesn't necessarily have the greatest value gameplay wise, historically it does mean something to me. So I get it if, you know, you're gonna sit there and be like, wow, this is a terrible mod, because me personally, I'm using a Riven in place of that mod. But keep in mind, it does mean something to the people, you know, who've been around for a while. So TennoCon save the date, July 11th will most likely be your second chance to get your hands on Prime Chamber if you can't get it now. See, I merged two things at once. Moving along, speaking of two things, DE actually went ahead and spoiled two upcoming events. One called the Scarlet Spear, and the text underneath it, you'll actually see it on the screen where they actually gave a little bit of a breakdown of what each event is. So we have the Scarlet Spear and the Deadlock Protocol. For the Scarlet Spear, these sentients have breached the Veil Proxima. Tenno squads in railjacks and on the ground must link up their operations to quell the invasion. So it looks like we are getting another infusion of Empyrean content, more specifically squad link. So I'm really curious to see what this event is all about, especially because they actually went ahead and showed off this new area, which is like, how do I put this? It's this area that it looks like it might be attaching to a part of your dojo, but it's the operations headquarters for the Scarlet Spear, and it's showing like on the screen, they've got like the sentient ship that's kind of like holographic and stuff. So I'm not 100% sure how that's all gonna play out, but that room is definitely a part of the event. In fact, if you wanna go ahead and take a look at the original video and scan for a couple spoilers or whatnot, maybe some kind of like things that they've like teased out, you can go ahead and take a look there lore wise. But me personally, I'm just like, new event coming soon, hopefully sooner than later. Now the next one that will come to follow, I'm not sure if these were shown in order, there's one on this side, there's one on this side, so I'm assuming we're reading it, but is the Deadlock Protocol. The Corpus are attempting a resurrection, uncover secrets about their founder and end their plans with the new Warframe Proteus in a newly remastered tile set. So very clearly this is going to be the Corpus ship tile set. I'm not sure if they're going to be shipping out the Empyrean versions of this as well, because we have heard that Corpus Empyrean will be coming eventually, where we're going to be kind of going through all of their ships, but they did say that this is going to be a tile set based thing, and that all of the tile sets from the standard ships that we normally go on now up to the new Empyrean ships are all going to kind of be unified and look very, very similar. In addition, with this, we will be getting Proteus. So it looks like there's going to be event first, then it's going to be the Deadlock Protocol. Now, what they also went ahead and showed is Protea herself. So they didn't go into too much because they were talking more along the sound designs, but they did show off like 3 of her abilities. I noticed that they did not tap the first button at all. I was watching the little corner of the screen, but the first one looks very, very similar to Wisp and how she's able to plant down all of her little, I call them her vases. I don't even remember what they're called, like the little vase things that spin around you. But instead, these ones are just planted and they will spawn energy orbs, health orbs, and ammo. So that's her first ability, or no, that's her second ability. And the thing that I was laughing about is it's called Dispensary. Now, if you're in the US and you're in any of the states that a certain plant is legal, you'll know exactly what a dispensary is. So I was kind of laughing that that's exactly what they named it. I was like, I see you. They also went ahead and showed off the BFG. That was her second ability, or that's her third ability. So if you guys noticed the really bulky, weird hip things, they did say that that was one of her drones. Well, she actually kind of like ejects itself from her, so she loses the weird hip things, and it's actually 2 lasers. So those things that come down her thighs are actually the barrels of this BFG cannon. You'll notice that it shoots off 3 shots and then completely disappears. So that is also another one of her abilities. And last is Anchor. That's the final one that they showed off, that it's kind of like her rewind ability that's able to kind of like get all of the resources back that she spent during a specific amount of time. They were showing off some sound design on that. To be honest with you, listen, the sound I'm not really all that obsessed with. I'm more worried about the fact that she looks really jittery running backwards in fast motion. I almost wish that she was just like an energy, like she just looks like energy zipping backwards instead of like weird legs skittering. I don't know. That's just my thing. Now, in addition to that, with the Scarlet Spear, they did show off what was named as a placeholder name, the Sentient New War Gun. Sentient New War Gun. So I don't know if, you know, this Scarlet Spear is going to be the beginning of New War, or if it's going to, like, I don't know how it's going to tie in, but it specifically says that this gun is going to be coming with Scarlet Spear. Now, the interesting thing about it is it has 2 different fire modes. When you aim down sights, it is a fully auto rifle. But if you back out of that and you just hold it down, it's actually a beam cannon as well. It's odd because it has this kind of like fluctuating thing about it. So I'm not sure if the beam is wide or if the beams just fluctuate in 2 different points. Because I'm not sure if it's going to hit everything in the middle or if it's just those 2 little side beams. Interestingly enough, it also does look like it is electricity based. Moving along, they actually went ahead and showed off the Corpus Gun Blade. Now, this is going to be coming with Protea in the Deadlock Protocol, and this actually looks really fucking cool. I hope the stats on this are good, because if they're not, I'm going to be super duper bummed. It looks like the beams, okay, I mean, I don't know if it's just me. I couldn't really spot a barrel on this thing, but it almost looked like the beams were like a blade shooting out of the gun. It could just be like a flat barrel and just like have like a pretty, like a pretty, I guess, not girthy, but like a long beam this way, you know what I mean? Like it's a little cutting edge. And it looked really, really cool. I love the effects on it. I couldn't get any kind of energy type or anything off of it. It just looks really, really nice, but we will have to wait for a while. I'm assuming it is probably going to be coming with Protea as one of her signature weapons. Cross your fingers. I have absolutely no idea. Aside from that, they didn't really cover too much. They did show off the new MOA a little bit. They didn't tell what it did. They just kind of like gave some animations and some sound stuff. It was really, really cute. But for the most part, those were the big pinnacles of the entire dev stream. Honestly, I wasn't expecting too much whenever they do the sound teams. It's always nice to hear some of the sound stuff that they come into play, but it's never something that is super crazy and lightning. I'm glad that they did go ahead and toss in some sneak peeks for this one. They also showed off like a sentient ship that was flying out in space. When I say sentient ship, it might not even be a sentient ship. It was just a small ship that was like flying out in railjack, and then they showed off a sentient enemy, the sound design of that, and just how it looked like. It basically looked like a bird flapping its wings with energy blade abilities. There was nothing too enlightening about it, but it was cool to see it in game, and hopefully we will see it sooner than later. Regardless, let me know how you feel about this dev stream down in the comments below. Was there anything else that really made you go, oh my god, that's so crazy? Are you excited for the 2 new events? What would you rather have your hands on? The sentient new war gun? I'm underlining that because I'm like, I see you. Or the Corpus Gun Blade? And is it me, or are you getting more excited or less excited about Protea once you see more and more of her abilities? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm looking at her and I'm like, you look like a little bit of like a knockoff Mirage with Wisp's little reservoirs and like a little techie BFG. I don't know. Listen, I'm not loving it, and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm very loving mood. Regardless, I have donuts to eat, so I'm gonna head on out. Again, toss all of your feelings down in the comments below, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and get your hands on Prime Chamber if you feel like it, or some donuts. Love yourself. I don't know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.